Yeah, there's almost too many now to do the gotta catch 'em all game, you know? Like, by the time I got around 400 Pokemon, I had already put almost 300 hours into Pearl. And a lot of it just comes down to, like, buying the older games and trading from them. Because it's not like you can see the Pokemon in the metagame and then trade with somebody who has one. Because I don't know if this is a feature in Gen 5 and 6. Because I haven't... Yeah, well, remember I said I went crazy and sold all my games, right? So I never got over 300 hours. But what I'm saying is, by 300 hours, I had around 400 Pokemon, and I still had a shitload more to get. And the only way to get those would be to play other games. Because I don't, as I was saying before, I don't know if they do this in Gen 5 and Gen 6, but in Gen 4, the only way you could trade a Pokemon was if you saw it in the game. So if you saw it battling in over Wi-Fi or something, you couldn't trade to get it. So that whole aspect of that game made it a lot harder to collect some of the Pokemon. I've been given strict orders. I'm to crush anyone who challenges Team Rocket. Like, yeah, when I went out and bought Fire Red to get all the Gen 1 Pokemon, I had to put 80 hours into that game to get most of the Pokemon from Gen 1, you know? So that's like 80 extra hours just to get those Pokemon from that game. And then I was, of course, waiting on the Gen 3 Pokemon, as I mentioned. And the damn game never showed up. Or the games, rather, never showed up. But ever since Gen 4, I always wanted to get more into the metagame. I never got the chance to really do it. Like, I guess I could go out now and, like, buy a 3DS. And actually, I am planning on getting Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, or if those are the right names. God damn it. I do quite want to get into Gen 6, because it's just... Honestly, it looks perfect. And I feel foolish for never having gotten into it earlier. That's actually the whole reason why I'm playing this game, though, is to hype myself out for the re-release of the Gen 3 games. Yeah, I think, like, one of the obvious reasons for why Gen 6 is so good is because it makes the metagame portion so much more approachable. You can EV train your Pokemon so much easier, right? And that fact alone, like, cuts out so much time out of the game Which, I mean, I kind of think it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's bad in the sense that it makes it easier, but it's also good in the sense that it saves time. And these games are just a huge time suck. I don't know if you've been playing since Gen 1, but I have. And the amount of time I've put into this series is kind of crazy. I don't even know how much time I put into Gen 1. The amount of times I've played through those games. And if you think back, it's basically a waste of time. They didn't even have internet play back then. An unknown child wandering here. Who are you? I remember taking my Game Boy to school every day and hoping that my friends would have come with their Pokemon games as well. And that we'd have enough opportunity to battle. But it doesn't always happen, obviously. I don't know why I just sent out Nidorino, but we're doing it. Horn attack? Is that why I sent him out? Yeah, man. Tell me about it. I think I was 12 when the first Pokemon games came out. I was one of those cool 12-year-olds playing Pokemon. And we all know what happened to those kids. Or we all know what didn't happen to those kids. We didn't get laid. If only, like, nerd culture were as popular back then as it is now. It's like, I don't know if you guys can relate, but it seems like being a geek when I was in school was not a good thing, and now it is a good thing. Yeah, I'm like 28, dude. I'm like actually old. I'm gonna be 30 in less than 2 years. And I'm still playing Pokemon. But if it's any consolation, I do get laid. Frequently, even. I don't even know why I'm using Onyx. Probably because I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Just kill Onyx already! So I can switch to Quilava. I don't even want to level up my Onyx. Okay, just kill him already. I don't want this experience to go to Onyx. I don't mean to rub salt in the wound, dude. I'm merely saying there is hope for us. Us, geeky Pokemon playing adults. In fact, I'd even go so far as to say that you're better off being a geeky Pokemon playing adult. A lot of it also has to do with the location and where you live, though. Nice. Yeah, I remember getting all of these promotional cards back in the day that you could only get from special events, like seeing Pokemon on the first day it was out in theaters, for example. I never saw it in theaters, though. I actually got that card from a friend who foolishly gave it up. And then I foolishly gave it to my younger cousins. It was an act of charity. Let's go ahead and use Confuse Ray. Hey man. Off topic is good. The more we go off topic, the better. You might notice sometimes I can get fairly raunchy and start talking about genitals and stuff. Like most people on the internet. I had so many freaking Pokemon cards because my best friend in high school was like the biggest juvenile delinquent. I can't even tell you how many Pokemon cards he stole. But actually, no, I can give you a rough estimate. He stole so many Pokemon cards from whatever stores that they had to stop carrying them just because he was stealing that many. God damn it. And because of that, I had like the biggest collection of Pokemon cards. Up until like the Team Rocket pack. And then actually this happened at more than one store. So he stole so many Pokemon cards from multiple stores that they stopped carrying them at multiple stores. But that all stopped when he went to juvenile hall. So that's about the time I stopped collecting Pokemon cards. I'm pretty sure I had most, if not all, of the cards from the first 2 or 3 expansion packs. It's the card key slot. You should be able to unlock the door with the card key. And I'm actually still friends with that dude, and he's still kind of a delinquent. But actually, I should use the term friends very loosely because I only ever talk to him on Facebook. I'm sure he watches my videos once in a while too, though, so if you're watching right now, Jesse. Actually, I should probably cut out his name. If you're watching it right now, dude, I love you, bro. But don't be a delinquent. I think when I was a kid, I was like... It seems like I was friends with all of these people who were more popular than me. And then I, like, gradually dragged them down to being that kid that sat at the Pokemon table at lunchtime. And I think part of it was because even though I was geeky, people wanted to give me the benefit of the doubt because I wasn't that geeky. I wasn't like the guys who... I don't know, I can't really give an example, but... Like the 15-year-old kids who only ever hangs out with elementary school kids. I wasn't like that kind of geeky. But I always managed to, like, hang out with popular kids and then pull them away from the fray of popularity. I'm actually Canadian. If you know Canada at all, I grew up on the East Coast in New Brunswick. And now I live on the West Coast, which is much better, in my opinion. And I'm not sure if the West Coast of the States is better, but I kind of have my suspicions. I've never been to California, Washington, or Oregon, but from what I've heard, they are wonderful places. I have been to the entire east coast of the States, though. The only states I haven't been on the East Coast are Rhode Island and Maryland. So I've been to a damn lot of the states. And I've been to some of the Midwest as well. And I've been to a few of the northern states. Except for... Yeah, I haven't been to Illinois or Washington. So yeah, I'm fairly well-traveled. And speaking from the term of my own country, I've been to every single province in Canada. And I've also been to China. Canada. Yeah, I mean, I can add a few more stereotypes to that. It's kind of funny, like, when I was younger, I used to hate hockey, and I still do hate hockey. I could never, like, sit down and watch it on my own time, but it seems like just from being Canadian, I've absorbed an ungodly amount of information about hockey without even wanting to watch it. In fact, like, when I'm talking to people who like hockey here, I always say, "Oh, I hate hockey." Like, I'm just forced to know about it. And usually, like, in Canada, I don't know if there's a parallel to this in the States, but in Canada, when somebody talks about hockey, you don't normally respond with, "I hate it." At least not if you plan on having any sort of social life. Oh yeah, milk bags. I forgot, that's a purely Canadian thing. I don't think they exist anymore, though. Honestly, I haven't seen a milk bag since I was like... I don't even know how young. We used to have them, though. And they're actually pretty good. They're pretty useful. We used to have these special things to pour the bags with. These special jugs. But yeah, as I was saying, I don't think they make them anymore. As far as I know, most excellent. This radio tower will fulfill our grand design. There's some Canadianisms that I've noticed, they're just going away. Yeah, I'm sure you can probably get them some places. But I mean, I live in one of the biggest cities in Canada, in Vancouver, which is the 3rd biggest city in Canada. And I can't find any fucking milk bags anywhere. It's not really in a bag in, like, the sense that you're probably thinking. It's kind of, oops, I meant to use brick break. It's kind of like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example of something it would compare to. But I can't really think of anything. So they're like, I think they mainly come in like, I think they mainly come in like 2-liter sizes, but they're kind of like cone shaped, like not exactly cone shaped, but cone-ish. And it's like, it's completely plastic wrapped, completely sealed. And then what you generally do is you cut off one of the corners and put it in a jug, and then you pour it out of that jug. I don't know, man. I don't even know what a Canadian accent is supposed to be. When I see Canadian accents on movies, I've never heard anybody talk like that. And people from where I'm from have a very obvious accent, but I've never ever heard anybody like do that on TV. Oh, why did I heal Onyx? What the fuck? Yeah, generally, like, I know that Canadians do have accents, obviously, but I don't think it's really that much like what they show on television.
Do you hear me? I'm the director. We have decided to broadcast wonderful shows to praise Team Rocket. Everyone, I don't want you to hear you complain. Just do a good job to... Yikes! I'm busy impersonating the... Who are you? Oh no, it's you again, Thomas.
Oh, is it Petrol?
No. I was pretending to be the director to influence the entire region to support Team Rocket. This time I won't hold back. Give me all you've got.
The accent where I'm from is, like, ungodly. I can't even impersonate it. Because, my family, I don't know why, but for some reason, some families where I'm from don't have that accent. And I guess I fall under that category. But if you heard this accent, there's no way you would think it was, like, a stereotypical Canadian accent. And it's just horrible to listen to. The only comparison I could kind of give to it is the accent that you would find in northern Maine. Except it's not quite as bad as that accent, but it's fairly close. It sounds like they have rocks in their mouths. And my dad actually has that accent. But my parents were separated and I was raised more by my mom's side. And none of them had that accent, so that's good. God damn it. Ah, god damn it. If you know where Newfoundland is from, they have a very interesting accent there. And I would recommend looking it up on YouTube, because it's that funny. I have a very good friend from Newfoundland, and he had an accent when he was younger, but he's phased it out over time. But whenever he gets drunk, his accent comes back. And it's hilarious. Let's use fly, I suppose. So, where are you guys from? And what kind of accent do you have, Colonel? I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Oh, Southeast Texas. I actually have an aunt and uncle in Texas. I think they live in Houston or around Houston. So I have a curiosity regarding Texas and the Texas accent. I mean, it's pretty well known what a Texas accent sounds like, but I'm under the impression that not everybody there actually has that accent. Like, a lot of people just have like a standard North American accent, I guess you would call it. So I'm actually curious if that's true or not.
Friggin' coughing.
Kill this last friggin' Pokemon. Yeah, I kind of felt like it was more of a rural thing than a city thing. That's generally how accents are here too. Like, you can notice in Canada that people who live in cities versus people who don't speak differently. I should probably... Yeah, I'm gonna send out Quilava, actually. I guess probably in, like, older generations, more people must have had the accent, but over time, probably, partly because of TV, over time that accent has probably disappeared, gradually. I mean, for me, like I was saying, I didn't have the same accent as the people who grew up in the area as me. So, and I actually lived smack dab in the middle of nowhere. Like, literally in farming country. So the fact that I don't have that accent is, I guess you could call it remarkable. But, it probably has something to do with my family not having that accent, and also something to do with that accent not being reinforced over television, because I've never heard anybody with that Canadian maritime accent on TV. Never. I've never heard it portrayed popularly anywhere. Actually, that's not true. I've heard a version of it on Trailer Park Boys. Yeah, man, absolutely. Honestly, I feel like most of the reason why I was kind of a nerd in high school, and considered a nerd anyways, is because of where I went to school. There was a period of time when I was in middle school where I was going to school in a fairly big city, and honestly, people there just didn't care, you know? I knew lots of people who were what you would consider a geek, and nobody really had any problem with it. So, I don't know, I've kind of lived a lot in rural areas, even in my adult life. And it seems like the more I live in big cities again, the more I kind of embrace my inner nerd and get away with it. Like, I work at a bar. I'm a bartender. And I can go to work in this adult environment and talk about Pokemon with everybody, and nobody blinks twice, you know? It's acceptable.
Okay, I'll tell you where he is. Listen carefully. We stashed the real director in the underground warehouse. It's at the far end of the Goldenrod tunnel. I'm a nice guy. I will give you the basement key to get to the underground warehouse. Take it with gratitude.
Yeah, dude. So, actually, as far as bartending goes, I'm actually kind of a big deal. I was mentioning, I think before you joined this chat, I was mentioning to Kalpesh that oftentimes I don't have time to record on weekends, and I only have a couple hours a day to record during the week. And I also mentioned that once in a while I do have to take a couple weeks break from recording. That's because a lot of the time one of the companies I work with flies me out of the country or to other places in Canada, and I get to train staff in customer service, bartending, and what have you. And basically the places that I train for are big resorts, hotels, casinos, shit like that. So it's actually a fairly good job. It's not the kind of job that most people get, so I'm kind of lucky in that respect. And I was also mentioning to Calpesh earlier that I also have a YouTube channel. But actually, I have a whole whack of YouTube channels, and one of them is it's a bartending channel. And it's not very popular, unfortunately, but I do stick it on my I do stick my YouTube channel on my resume quite frequently, and it gets me a lot of notoriety when I'm looking for these hard to get jobs. So I guess you could say I'm really good at selling myself. For example, I did have a really good job offer in Singapore, but I didn't end up getting it, but I am on hold for when they expand their company, so it's very exciting. That one was a really good job as well. So from what they tell me, I'm the first on their list for 2 hires when they expand, so I could possibly be leaving Canada sometime in the future. But anyways, I've been playing for about an hour and a half now, so I'm gonna have to call this recording complete. I will catch you guys next time. Please like and follow my Twitch channel as well as my YouTube channel. Thanks, see you next time.